Howard Storm lay on a narrow cot in a Paris hospital, his abdomen burning with the agony of a perforated duodenum. At 40, the Northern Kentucky University art professor was a man defined by his own anger and a rigid, lifelong atheism. He stared at the ceiling, waiting for a surgery scheduled hours away, his wife sobbing silently by his side. He was a man of logic, of stone, and of certainties. To Howard, there was nothing beyond the flesh, nothing beyond the intellect he had spent decades refining. He felt the cold touch of the hospital sheets, unaware that his world was about to vanish. Suddenly, the hospital room dissolved. The walls bled into a gray mist. Howard found himself standing beside the bed, looking down at his own shivering form, a shell he no longer inhabited. He heard voices echoing in the corridor, calling his name with a familiar, almost friendly cadence. Expecting medical help, he followed them into the shadows. But as he walked, the hallway stretched into a suffocating gloom. The air grew heavy with a stagnant chill. The voices shifted. They were no longer welcoming. They became jagged, cruel, and mocking. He was no longer in a place of healing, but a place of profound, terrifying isolation. Figures emerged from the dark, surrounding him. They mocked his pride and began dragging him toward an endless abyss. He had spent his life believing in his own self-sufficiency, but in this darkness, his intellect and status were useless. As he was shoved and assaulted by these shadows, his sophisticated mind failed him. In the depths of his terror, a fragment of a childhood memory surfaced, unbidden and strange. He opened his mouth and sang, "Jesus loves me, this I know." It was a desperate, illogical act for a man who believed in nothing. But as the words left his lips, the darkness recoiled as if burned. A tiny pinpoint of light pierced the gloom, expanding with a roar of silence until it washed over him. A figure of pure radiance descended, lifting him from the floor of that terrible place. He felt his very essence being scrubbed clean, the layers of his anger peeling away like dead skin. He was transported to a realm of blinding light, surrounded by beings who spoke in silence. They did not ask him about his career, his tenure, or his art. They asked him only one thing: whom had he loved? Howard stood before them, stripped of his defenses, forced to confront the hollow answers of his past life. He saw the moments he had wasted on bitterness. Then, with a command he could not refuse, he was sent back. When Howard opened his eyes, he was a different man. He resigned his professorship and entered the seminary. For the rest of his life, he stood behind pulpits, repeating one truth: I was wrong, and he came for me anyway. If you have ever whispered a prayer in the dark, know this: the darkness hears you, but the light hears you first.